Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute.
Live from the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's America's favorite gun-toting, Bible-clinging, deplorable American.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Todd Starnes.
Oh, yeah.
And welcome, everybody. To get that mic on, gee. Welcome, everybody. This is the Todd Starnes Radio Show. Great to have you with us today. Wow, what an exciting week for America. And of course, yesterday the huge news coming out of the Middle East. President Trump bringing peace to the Middle East, and we are just so grateful for that. And the celebrations in Israel and really across the world, just truly remarkable. And I got to tell you, hats off to Bill and Hillary Clinton and even Joe Biden, because they actually gave President Trump credit and congratulated the president for his work. Truly extraordinary. By the way, have you seen the Time magazine cover of President Trump? We have that over on ToddStarnes.com, and I want you to go over and take a look at the photo, because a lot of people are upset about this, including President Trump. You know, Time magazine featuring the president on the cover, and it's this really odd camera angle, and it looks as if somebody was literally laying underneath the president and shot the camera upwards. And the president is a little frustrated with the photograph on the cover of Time magazine. And I'm just curious if you see that president see the photo the way the president has seen the photo, because some are saying, well, it really represents the power and the majesty and the largeness of the president. That's not how President Trump actually took the photo. Here's what he wrote on Truth Social. Time magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. That's all caps, by the way. He wrote that in all caps. They disappeared my hair and then had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one. So his hair does sort of disappear into the whiteness of the cover. It's an unusual cover, I will say that. And many people in MAGA world, my good friend Darla Shine, writing, shame on you for choosing this photo. Another person saying you should be ashamed of using the most unflattering photo you could find, taken at an odd angle to try and humiliate President Trump. You just humiliated yourself, Time magazine, demonstrating how low you would stoop. You creeps had to use a terrible photo from a terrible angle. Petty losers. Yeah, I don't know. Others are saying, that it's not all that bad of it. It's just weird. But anyway, President Trump, this reminds me of Winston Churchill and his famous portrait. Many of you watched the Netflix series The Crown. This was like an entire episode of the series when Winston Churchill was honored. Well, at least they thought they were honoring Churchill with this painting by the famed modernist artist Graham Sutherland. Turns out Churchill not a big fan of modernist paintings. And as the legend goes, they presented Churchill the painting, and it was secretly burned by Mrs. Churchill, Lady Churchill, Clementine. Churchill hated that portrait so much, and he thought it was an insult. So anyway, I couldn't help but think of that as I saw President Trump's reaction to this photograph, and clearly an artistic photo of President Trump on the cover. I will say, though, it was, and the president was right. Time magazine actually did a pretty decent job of covering the story. So anyway, we will go over and look at it, and then give me a call. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think Time magazine was intentionally trying to poke and prod President Trump? We all have our good sides, right? You may not believe this, but we do, right? Whenever we're getting a picture made or something of that, we always say, well, hey, don't shoot me from that angle. It's a bad angle. I remember whenever I was on Fox and Friends, all the time, they would put me on the side of the curvy couch. I used to hate that. It's a bad angle for me. You got to look at me straight on, and then it's okay. But you get the side angle, I get a little bit wobbly. Anyway, our telephone number today, by the way, 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. We'll be taking your calls on the Time magazine cover of President Trump. So anyway, Charlie Kirk, continuing on, you had the incredible day yesterday, and today would have been Charlie Kirk's 32nd birthday. Of course, he was assassinated on September the 10th. And today, he's going to be honored at the White House, and it is going to be quite the ceremony. You'll be able to watch it live on Newsmax 2. I'm sure your local radio station will also be providing coverage of this. Mrs. Kirk, Erica Kirk, is going to be accepting the award on behalf of her late husband. Still hard to get my head wrapped around that, right? It's just all very strange, all very strange. But anyway, all of that happens at 4 o'clock Eastern today, and we'll stay on top of that. Coming up a little bit later on in the program, yesterday we told you about this kid from Oklahoma State University. He was reprimanded by his teacher for giving a speech about Charlie. We're going to talk to that student later on in the program. Also, Josh Jones is going to drop by. He's got some things to say about the government shutdown, as well as the media reaction and the aftermath of the Middle East peace deal. And Congressman Mike Collins is going to be here. So we have a lot of stuff going on, and we're excited that you have joined us for today's program. Again, 901-260-5926. Go check out the photo over at toddstearns.com. So there was an interesting story that came out yesterday, and this is really sort of our launching point for today's conversation. And it involves the religious life of America. And, there was a time in this country not long ago when just about everybody went to church. As a matter of fact, during Eisenhower's administration, church attendance rose by 20% in this country. Just about everybody went to church or synagogue. Now, that is certainly not the case. I mean, we are starting to see a resurgence among younger Americans, the so-called Gen Z crowd, and especially the younger portion of that group, they're all going back to church. But in record numbers, I mean, numbers going back to the Eisenhower years when the baby boomers were being birthed. So that's exciting. But overall, church attendance has plummeted in America. But there's also another disturbing trend. And last night on the Newsmax show, I had a guest on from Family Research Council. Yesterday, they released a new survey, and they did they did a deep dive into what's going on with America and what's going on in America's church culture. And I want you to take a listen to that conversation, cut number 1. Okay, we'll get back to that in just a moment. Anyway, but the Family Research Council, again, doing a survey on life and family. And one of the interesting things they found about this study is that an overwhelming number of Christians in this country no longer believe in the pro-life movement. It's insane how it's just absolutely insane. But a majority of Christians are now pro-choice, according to the survey. And even beyond that, a majority of Americans are now against traditional family values. Take a listen. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a break and we'll regroup and we'll try to bring that conversation to you. Our telephone number, 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. This is The Todd Stearns Show. A new survey shows a major shift in beliefs among Christians. The Family Research Council reporting a sharp drop in pro-life views among churchgoers from 63% just 2 years ago to 43% this year. There's also growing confusion about the definition.
You're with Todd Stearns.
Hi, this is Todd Stearns. You know, you have lots of choices for cell phone service with new ones popping up all the time. But here's the truth. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American and believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that's Patriot Mobile. The good news is you can switch to Patriot Mobile today without sacrificing quality or service. Worried about coverage? Don't be. Patriot Mobile uses all 3 major U.S. networks. If you have service in this country today, you'll have as good or better coverage with Patriot Mobile. Think switching is a hassle? Well, it's not. You can keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based team will get you activated in minutes from the comfort of your own home. Stuck in a contract or owe money on your phones? No worries. Patriot Mobile has a contract buyout program. This is how we win, folks, by aligning our spending with our values. Every dollar we spend matters. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. Use promo code Todd and get a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Thought, well, just for the heck of it, I'll try this Balance of Nature. But I thought, all right, I'll do it for 1 month, and then I can cancel. And so I ordered it for 1 month. I have told so many people about this stuff. They think I'm crazy. So for me to say I would continue to do it means it's got to be good.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements today. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Don't wait. Now's the time to take action. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a 70-year-old man. I'm not a young guy, and I'm an ex-athlete. Well, yeah, when I was taking it, I recognized that I was feeling better. You know what I'm saying? And just mentally knowing is important also.
I am a customer of you guys. I love your product. Love it, love it. Nothing but good things to say about your product. I love it. And as long as y'all are going to sell it, I'm going to take it as long as I can.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/TODD or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. And welcome back to the Todd Starnes Radio Show. Happy to have you with us. Let's keep that microphone on, please. Wow. So, all right. Thank you. Well, all right. Let's try to regroup here, folks. We're having some technical issues. My extreme apologies for that. I want to go back to this this Family Research Council study. I'm just stunned by this. It's just unbelievable. According to the study, which was conducted by Family Research Council in partnership with Arizona Christian University, they surveyed regular church-going adults, over 1,000 of them, and they compared these numbers with the numbers from 2023 and a study they did back then. And they found that while people are, in fact, going back to church in huge numbers, most people simply do not hold traditional values of the faith. And I'm talking about, for example, the idea that marriage is between one man and one woman. Most church-going Christians no longer ascribe to that. Also, the numbers of Christians who now believe or who now stand opposed to the pro-life movement is there's been a 20% drop. These are staggering findings. And so a lot of people are saying, okay, what the heck is going on here? What is going on in America? What's happening in these church houses? Well, I want to posit a theory here because this is an important conversation. Because everything we do on this program is rooted on that foundation of God first, right? Religion is our first freedom, religious liberty. According to the survey, they they highlighted what is being called and referred to as confusion on abortion. Abortion being the central moral issue for the past 5 decades. 73% of churchgoers now express contradictory views across 6 abortion-related measures. That tells me that something is going on in the pulpits of these churches. And I want to suggest that as much as the university system has caused great chaos in our culture, I would suggest that the seminaries that are raising up the next generation of pastors are just as responsible for causing this chaos. And we have graduated a generation of woke pastors who are simply either not willing to address these issues or they hold opinions that are contrary to the Bible on some of the most pressing issues of the day. And I coined a term a long time ago called woke evangelicals. And these are pastors who have disengaged their congregations from the culture war, which is a huge problem. You know, the Bible tells us that we're supposed to be salt and light, and unfortunately, many churches, many Christians are on a sodium-free diet these days. It's not a good thing at all. And as a result, the culture suffers. So as much as we want to blame the Democrats for all of the cultural woes and the chaos in the culture, much of the responsibility is found within our church houses. Because if our founding fathers really did mean for America to be a Christian country, if our founding fathers really meant for us to be a country that follows the teachings and the precepts of the Holy Bible, if that is the case, then we got problems. And I say that because, as John Adams said, and I think I've quoted him at least once a month, I share this quote with you, our Constitution wholly inadequate for anyone other than a moral and religious people. So if that is the case, then that's why this country is off course. That's why this country right now is off kilter. Because if we're not speaking truth to the culture from our pulpits, if we're allowing our churches to be guided by the culture instead of the culture being guided by the church, then, yeah, we are going to get chaos, and we got loads of it right now. I'll give you an example. Just the other night, more than 500 kids, teenagers, were causing mayhem in a giant parking lot, and not a single person got arrested, and you had people talking to the local media saying, well, because people were like, where are the moms and the dads? And it's a great question. Where were the moms and the dads? What kind of parents let their kids wander around the streets after dark? You've got 13, 14-year-old kids that are being just dropped off at various locations. Are you kidding me? And this is happening in every major American city out there. And it's not just major American cities. Look at what happened over the weekend in the state of Mississippi and in South Carolina, where you had dozens and dozens of people that were shot at these homecoming events. It's so bad that in Laurel, Mississippi, they just announced moments ago that there will not be any tailgating allowed at future football games, and they will not be doing a homecoming dance because they can't guarantee anyone's safety. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the chaos in the culture we're talking about. Chaos in the culture, chaos in the classroom, and we have silence from our pulpits. And I will say this as we commemorate Charlie Kirk's birthday today. If you attended a church and they did not address the assassination of Charlie Kirk and what this means to the culture at large, and the fact that this man was a martyr for his faith, you need to pack up your Bible and march right out of that church and find yourself another church home. That's the problem. You know, we can talk politics until we're blue in the face, but the reality is politics never fixes anything. Politics normally actually makes things worse. Our problem, and the problem we are dealing with here and now, is a religious problem. And until we can get that sorted out, we're never going to have peace in this country, and we are never going to get this culture back on track. But I'm telling you right now, that is a dangerous thing when you've got church members that are saying that, you know what, I think I'm pro-choice. I think it's okay for a woman to abort her child to kill her baby. That's going to be hard to come back from, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got a lot of work to do, and I think, and again, I certainly appreciate Family Research Council putting this story out and this survey out. But as Tony Perkins said, the good news is that the Christians are looking for church leaders for guidance. The problem is the church leaders. And we've got a lot of preachers that don't want to offend people, and they'd rather just spend their time putting together 3 or 4 point self-help sermons and then tossing it over to the American Idol cover band for worship, so people can get their worship on. All right, got to take a break here. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. Am I right or am I off the reservation on this one? We'll be right back, America.
Mama, what does the chicken say?
Chicken. Oh, okay.
And wolf?
Oh, a wolf. Ooh!
What about the tiny dog? Cat? Owl? Dolphin? What does the turkey say? Whale?
Whale sound.
Do the giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Okay. Giraffe. Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is Medishare. Maybe you've heard switching to Medishare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for Medishare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medishare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, No, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Todd Starnes Radio Show. Tammy writing in on the Facebook live stream. We have a lively stream today. Todd, another problem has been our men are to be godly leaders in their homes. Now we have too many homes where the father is absent. So when female kids become adults, they have issues with men. Well, let's go to the phone lines here and say hello to Anna in Atlanta, listening to us on WDUN today. Hi, Anna. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Mr. Starnes. First of all, I want to thank you for taking my call, and I listen very often on WDUN here in Georgia. I called because I agree with you about the church being a reason that our country is in the state it's in today. However, I disagree with you about why. I believe that the church is full of hypocrites. I believe that people don't do what Jesus would do. I don't believe we love our neighbors as ourselves. The church is being used in our country to uphold slavery, civil rights. The most segregated hour in our country is Sunday mornings now. So I just believe people don't believe your account. If you're light, if you're salt, that's what people believe in. You trying to tell the world what they should and should not do falls on deaf ears. And our Jesus, my Lord and Savior, proved that throughout his ministry, that people don't listen to what you say, they watch what you do. And so I agree with you, and I'll hang up, and thank you again for taking my call.
Well, Anna, let me ask you this, though. You brought up something that has always been a bee in my bonnet, because, I've heard this thing about, Sunday, the church hour being the most segregated day. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I mean, if God is calling you to attend a certain church, and the reality is...
Well, we know why churches have been segregated in our country, Mr. Starnes. I just hope you would be honest about that.
Well, why is that? Why is that, Anna?
Why? Our country has a history, Mr. Starnes. You know that black people weren't allowed in public places. Our tax dollars went to fund public programs and governments, and I don't have to go all the way back to slavery to talk about it. I can just talk about my mother, who was born in 1958, that she would go to Woolworths on our Times Square and have to get food from the back with her mother.
But the good news is those days are over, aren't they, Anna?
Those days.
What's that, Anna?
In full bloom, but those days are still... Again, do you go to a black church, Mr. Starnes? Have you ever decided to go to a black church to be a member? That's your choice, but why haven't you?
Because Anna, I'll be happy to. I'm happy to answer that question if you'd let me answer, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would love to hear your answer.
I go to church to worship Jesus, not a skin color.
Yeah, that's easy to say, Mr. Starnes. Again,
is it? Is it, Anna?
Majority in our country.
Well, no. Let me ask you. Anna, you got to ask me a question. I answered, and now I want to ask you a question.
You said you don't go to church for skin color. I asked you, have you ever been a member of a black church?
What is a black church? No, what is a black church? I want you to define
a church where the majority of people there are black.
So by your very definition, that would make that church racist, would it not? If all the church members are black.
Try to switch words, or okay.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Many multicultural churches in the area.
What does that mean?
In particular is where Jensen Franklin is the president. I would just say to the evangelical Americans out there who listen to your show, God is not interested in your color, but he watches what you do and how you treat. And so for the evangelicals who would put a man up as our president who even admitted that he ain't going to heaven, or, that's for someone to be representative of my country.
Are you open? Are you in your car, Anna? Hold on. Are you in your car? I hear a dinging in the background.
I am. I have you on speaker. I'm sorry. I told you I would hang up. I just wanted to hear your opinion on it.
I don't want you to hang up, Anna, because I'm curious about this.
I'm going to pull over.
All right. Yeah, don't get pulled over now. That's nobody wants that.
Over right now. I'm in my town square. As a matter of fact, I'm right in front of W.D. Wynn's office on the square, about to do yoga for this afternoon.
Well, so here's the deal. Here's the deal, Anna. The answer is I do go to a church where people of multiple skin colors worship, and it's not just black, Hispanic, Asian. One of the churches I go to a lot when I'm out on the West Coast, it is a majority-minority congregation. But that's not the point. Skin color is not the point. It's where God wants you to go. And I will say this. Hold on. Anna, hold on.
No,
I will say this.
I already agree with you that God doesn't care about color. The point is, who do you worship with? Who do you have contact with? Are you you're talking about segregated? You know that black churches exist. The United Methodist Church, as a matter of fact, where I grew up, existed because the Methodist people decided not to do that kind of thing. To see it.
Well, let me drop a truth bomb on you here, Anna, because I would be willing to say most majority white churches are more diverse and more integrated than most black churches are in America.
Well, I would like to see your proof to that.
Well, you call up any black mega church, and that's the thing is they only call out the white mega churches. They do not call out the black churches.
I don't agree. I don't see anyone. Again, you can speak in Mr. Starnes. I listen to your show every day. I know you deal in hyperbole and generalizations.
What do you mean? I ask for specifics. Give me a specific. I'll tell you, First Baptist Church, Atlanta, Georgia. First Baptist Church, Atlanta, Georgia. You're going to see just as many black faces in the crowd as you will white. But again, why is that so important? Why does that matter? Why do we have to focus on skin color? Why do we have to focus on skin color?
I didn't focus on skin color.
You brought it up. You brought it up.
I said that our country has had Christians. Our country has had Christian white evangelicals since the beginning of our nation.
We've had blacks too. What are you saying? I mean, Dr. Tony Evans.
You know that black congregations
Vody Bacham.
Black congregations are an offshoot of the majority white congregation.
I've got to run. We've had you on.
Will you still please tell me, is it not true that black congregations were started because they weren't welcome in white churches?
No, not at all. Not at all. There have always been. What do you call the African Methodist Episcopal Church, Anna? Are you kidding me?
It began because they weren't allowed in Episcopal churches.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to go to Episcopal church. Look, Anna, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you taking my call.
All right. Thank you, Anna. Jeez, salute. I like Anna. I think she's coming from a good place. I think so. But the reality is, why does skin color matter where you go to church? But if you're gonna have that conversation, at least be honest about it. You have entire denominations that are specifically designed for a specific race of people. Do I have a problem with that? No, not at all. If that's how you want to worship, that's great. But the reality is, I do go to church with folks from all different skin colors and persuasions. Because, again, the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is not the color of your skin, it's the condition of your heart. All right, 901-260-5926, our telephone number. Do you agree or disagree with Anna from Atlanta? 901-260-5926. Let's go to Jerry in Iowa. Hi, Jerry. What's going on?
Hey, hello, Brother Todd. I love that last call. It was so kind of you to talk with her and for her to talk with you. And I was going to talk.
She yelled at me, Jerry, but
well,
I don't want to quibble with facts.
You bore it nobly, and so I hope she calls back. I like her. So I think vast majority of Christians of all colors don't really care. It's kind of uninteresting, actually. There's so many more things we can talk about today. It's kind of like ancient history in many ways. Yeah, there's a few people are still hung up on that hook. But for the most part, I think the largest church in the U.S. is Lakewood. I've been there before. It is the most diverse Asians, Latino. I mean, there's one of everybody. And they have a wonderful children's ministry. So I think most Americans really, the issue is I think it's kind of evaporating. I just
let me say this: the problem here, Jerry, because we got to get a move on here, and I want to get to your comment. But the reality is, a lot of black churches in the say Memphis area, I'll use that as an example, they're teaching black liberation theology. So it's not about the skin color. Again, it goes back to the heart, and it goes back to what your preacher is preaching. And a lot of churches are preaching hate from the pulpit and division from the pulpit, and I know that because you can see it in the culture.
Okay, that is so true. And also the other option you gave was that churches are not addressing it. So it's either a Marxist impetus or they're not addressing it. There's so many wonderful churches, and my comment is they're so heavenly minded, they're no earthly good. They talk about Jesus and theology. Jesus is a great focus, so is encouragement. But there's no specificity on practicalities that we need to hear about. Voting, abortion, get on the school board, support for Israel. That's important. It's in the Bible. Porn, drugs, alcohol. It's just endless milk, like faith versus works. I mean, this is good stuff. Baptism versus sprinkling, pre-trib versus mid-trib. So these are great doctrinal issues, and I'm not saying ignore them forever, but we need to get some applied specificity in the culture. Otherwise, we're just so irrelevant the rest of the week. So, there's the Marxist focus in the liberal mainline churches. I loved your comment about Episcopal Church. But they're either not addressing the issues or they're going the wrong way. So we need to hear about who the good candidates are. Are they moral? Are they pro-life? I'm okay with hearing that in church. We still got to focus on Jesus, but let's get some practicality going, too, instead of dodgy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Jerry, well said. Thank you for that. Let's go to Lee in Bartlett, Tennessee, listening to us on KWAM. Hi, Lee. What's on your mind?
Yeah, in regards to the churches, that one caller, first of all, generally, most churches are located in certain neighborhoods, and that's pretty much what your congregation will be. If you are in an all-black neighborhood, it could be all-black. Why would someone from across town go there across town just to go to that church, just to please people? You're going to please God, so you're going to go to church that's generally closer to you. And also, I was, I'm a Nazarene as far as my faith goes, and around the city, there's some black Nazarene churches and some white Nazarene churches, and whenever they had revivals and so forth, we go to those churches and, worship with them. They come to the churches that happen to be white, and so the woman is all wrong.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I wasn't quite sure where Anna was taking the conversation, but again, I don't think that makes her a bad person at all. And there are a lot of people that just feel just like she does. But if you're going to play that, you got to do it both ways. And I know that as a Southern Baptist, our denomination, I think we got infected by some of that George Soros woke money on the immigration and the race stuff. And there was this effort to, it's like, oh, we've got too many white people in the church. Well, okay, who are you going to kick out? And what? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But they never go after the Spanish-speaking churches, or we have Chinese-speaking churches or Russian-speaking churches. It's okay for all the Russians to have their church, but it's not okay for, a bunch of white folks in their neighborhood to have a church. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, Lee, we got a bad phone connection, but I think we got the gist of what you were saying. Thank you. Real quick, let's go to Salem, Oregon. Ronnie is listening to us on KYKN. Hey, Ronnie, what's on your mind?
I'm doing okay, my brother, and I know what that lady there was insulting. first thing she needs to do is practice what you preach. Feed the sheep, labor sheep, protect our sheep. I mean, I've been to black churches when I grew up in L.A., and I tell you, there were some good ones, there were bad ones. 80% of them bad. They want to segregate everything else. How about standing up for our children against surgical mutilation? How about going through and coming together with God's people, just like Pastor Murillo, Pastor Tank Kuderman, and Mr. Wilkerson, David Wilkerson, and others? Or even go back to Catherine Kuhlman. She used to be on Channel 11 in L.A. I like churches because they walk. The ones that walk, we don't see color. We don't see how high, how low of a food tree you are. You've got to be a light to others and the salt of the earth. And if iron sharpens iron, if you surround yourself with those that walk in faith, not by sight. And yet, she has some good points to a degree, but the point is this. When Jesus walked on earth, did he say, I'm going to choose the Africans from Ethiopia? Did he say, I'm going to choose the Gentiles from basically Eastern Europe? No, he said, these are my people.
Yeah, it's that simple, Ronnie. It's that simple. Ronnie, I got to run, my friend. I am super late for a break. All right, God bless you, brother. I just tell you. Look, here's the deal. If God is telling you, you got to go to that, if you're a white dude and God says you got to go to that Hispanic church and you don't, well, then you're in trouble. All right? So you go where God wants you to go to worship. Holy smokes. I'm a Baptist because we have good church suppers on Wednesday night. And there are a few other reasons. All right, we got to take a break. 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Stern Show.
He's not bitter. He's blessed. Todd Starnes.
When you're working to protect and serve your community and country, you need a degree program that fits into your busy schedule. At Liberty University, you'll find just that. With 100% online program options and no set login times, you can advance your skills without sacrificing your commitments. Plus, we offer exclusive tuition rates and discounts to current and former service members, their spouses, and first responders. Learn more by texting DEGREE to 49595. That's DEGREE to 49595.
Hey, Patriots, Todd Starnes here with big news. Trump's fighting for our country to get it back on the right track, battling China, who's likely dumping treasuries to sink the dollar, and facing tariffs that are having a sharp bite on the stock market. Now, Trump is playing the long game for America, putting Americans first. But like hard work, there's always going to be some pain. So you've got to play smart, too. Secure your hard-earned savings and retirement with Vault U.S. Gold. Their IRS-approved gold IRAs let you roll over your IRA or 401k with a no-commission pros. Safe, simple, tax-smart, protecting your future. Want it in hand? Well, their direct delivery program ships insured gold and silver to your door, offering privacy, yours to store securely. Real assets that you can hold and touch for tough times. Call 833-511-GOLD. That's 833-511-4653 or visit vaultusgold.com/Todd Starnes for your free investor kit. And tell them Todd sent you and don't go unprotected. Friends, here's a reality check. Your biggest retirement expense likely isn't groceries or health care. It's taxes. Add inflation eating away at your dollar, and it's easy to see why so many run out of money. Lassiter Capital helps solve that problem by giving you access to real estate investments designed to generate income, protect against inflation, and provide huge tax advantages. Founder Ty Lassiter calls it the 4 keys to investment success. Visit LassiterCapital.com/Starnes or call 817-912-1569 to schedule your free consultation. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life. And he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says,
avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Happy to have you with us. This is the Todd Starnes Show. Wow, that got a little rowdy in the last segment. Didn't mean for that to happen. All right, coming up, Josh Jones is going to join us. We may be talking with some good friends over at Turning Point USA, everyone in Washington, for the big ceremony later today. You know, I'm wondering, when you look at the aftermath of the assassination and just the influx of young conservatives into the movement, do you think this is going to have a lasting impact? And what do we need to do to make sure that the mission of Turning Point goes on? Because you know how this goes, and especially with young people, when you look at summertime coming around and spring break, and the further away from the assassination you get, the more people are going to be distracted into doing other things. And so I'm wondering, what would it take, and what is it going to take to keep the Turning Point USA movement going in the right direction and growing? That's going to be the big question and the big challenge for all of us. Some of you may have some ideas about that. I know that we have been working and trying to do our part here locally, being a support for the TPUSA chapters that are popping up at high schools and colleges here in the Memphis area where our show is based. So anyway, looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that. And I tell you, I do have to give just a huge shout out to our friends over in Houston at Patriot Talk 920. You know, one of the things I love about that radio station is they are so involved in the community, and especially when it comes to the Second Amendment. Anytime there is a gun show, anytime there is some sort of a firearms event, they are there and they are involved. I will say this, they are sponsoring a youth introduction to firearms class that is already sold out at one of the local gun ranges there in the Houston area. So this is just tremendous news, and well done to our friends over at Patriot Talk. Michael Wilson, the morning drive host, and of course Matt Velasquez, who is the great owner of that radio station. And maybe your local radio station is doing something similar. We'd love to know about it so we can give you guys a shout out. And one of the great things about this program is that we are on a lot of mom and pop owned, independent owned radio stations around the nation, which means we get to make the rules. And I love that. We get to decide what we're going to support. All right, hang tight, everybody. Hour 2 of the big show coming up, 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Show. We'll be right back, America.
In a world where our values are under fire, it's time to stand strong. That's why you should know about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank is a bank that stands for faith, family, and freedom. A bank that won't cave to cancel culture. Your money, your values. So if you're tired of banks that won't stand up for your values, it's time to switch to Old Glory Bank. Head on over to oldglorybank.com/Starnes and make the change today.
From director Sean McNamara comes Soul on Fire, based on a true story.
They said you had no chance, but here you are.
Starring Joel Courtney, John Corbett, Stephanie Shostak, Macy McLean, with Devon Franklin and William H. Macy.
If you focus exactly on loving the life that you're living right now, and not the life that you think you could have had or should have had, that's the whole deal right there.
Soul on Fire, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Now playing. For tickets, go to soulonfiremovie.com.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Prediabetes captures 1 in 3 adults. There are usually no signs of prediabetes. In fact, most people don't even know they have it. But with early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Take action by taking the 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. You might not be able to escape having this song stuck in your head, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. Stand by for news and commentary next.
From Affirm Films and director Sean McNamara comes Soul on Fire, based on a true story. When John O'Leary suffers burns over 100% of his body, it's a battle for survival. But through the care and support of community heroes, John's resilience leads him to discover what it means to truly live.
The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire.
Soul on Fire, rated PG, parental guidance suggested. Now playing. More information is available at soulonfiremovie.com.
Soul on Fire. The Rubicon has been crossed when it comes to unruly teens. From Kettering, Ohio, comes word of a Chick-fil-A that has banned teens. Anybody under the age of 17 must have an adult chaperone. The famed chicken restaurant says it had no other choice. Many other places around the nation, from malls to McDonald's, are banning kids. A Target store in Brooklyn banned children without adult supervision to curb bad behavior, and a nearby McDonald's actually cards anyone who doesn't look their age. The fact is, many parents are using shopping centers and fast food restaurants as de facto babysitters. But Chick-fil-A's job is to sell chicken, not entertain your kids. Now, some parents say it's a violation of their rights, which is simply not true. At Chick-fil-A, the only right a customer has is to a delicious fried chicken sandwich tucked between buttered buns, adorned with a pickle. Start raising your kids right, America. Come on. I'm Todd Starnes.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes. Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute.
Live from the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's Common Sense Conservative Commentary from Todd Starnes.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Todd Starnes Radio Show. What an honor to have you with us today. This hour, we're going to be pretty busy today, everybody. A lot going on. We are also monitoring developments out of Washington. The Senate is expected to vote sometime today on another plan to reopen the federal government. And it's not looking good because they need 5 more Democrats to break ranks and join the Republicans to reopen the government and get this continuing resolution through. So a couple of things. As of today, all Smithsonian museums are now closed to the public. Also, we're hearing the National Zoo is shut down, and you will not be able to go and visit any of those. So if you're making vacation plans, you might just want to hold up a little while until they get the government reopened. By the way, Speaker Mike Johnson, this is insane. So Speaker Johnson's going out there and he's laying out what exactly the Democrats are wanting. And the Democrats are demanding that, first of all, you fund health care for illegals, hundreds of millions of dollars, that you have to use your tax money to take care of the boo-boos and the sniffles of illegals. Also, the Democrats refuse to reopen the government until Republicans agree to fund, get this, $3.9 million to LGBTQIA plus democracy grants for the Balkans. They also want to spend $2.9 million in your tax money to fund desert locust reduction in Africa. What does that mean? Just stomp on them or use Raid. Just get giant cans of Raid and spray the locust. How difficult is that? So anyway, that's what the Democrats are wanting. And again, the Republicans are saying no. They say, you know what? I know that you want to get rid of the locust as much as everybody else, but we can't afford to do that right now. So we got to shove through this clean resolution, this CR, which, by the way, is the same CR that we've already approved with Biden-era spending levels. So what's the big deal? And now we've got Dollar Store Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, who says he has not even spoken to Speaker Mike Johnson. How is that humanly possible? Your offices are like right down the hallway from each other. So how is it that you can't walk over to the Speaker's office and say, Mr. Speaker, this is Hakeem Jeffries. They call me Dollar Store Obama. Would love to be able to sit down and talk with you. But he hasn't done it. Even CNN was dumbfounded by that. Dana Bash was like, what do you mean? I know exactly where your office is. You're just a few feet away. Walk over and knock on the guy's office door. How difficult is that? But Democrats are sweating right now because they know that there's no way out of this. So the question now becomes, which 5 Democrats are going to be the sacrificial lambs for the party? Also, and this is really interesting, this redistricting effort, it's getting pretty interesting out there. Now, Kansas has become the latest state to try and remove their Democrat district. And I was hoping Tennessee would do it. We've got one out here in the western part of the state, Congressman Steve Cohen. The rest of the delegation, all Republican. And I would love for them to do that. So CNN's starting to run through the numbers. And if the redistricting efforts continue, the Democrats could lose 19 seats. So we shall see how this plays out. But ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. If you live in a state that is controlled by Republicans, then your legislature needs to be redistricting. And the reason why is very simple, because the Democrats will do it to you. And if they will do it to you, we have to do it to them. I mean, it really is that simple at the end of the day. So our telephone number, by the way, 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. Coming up a little bit later, we're going to be talking to Joshua Wilson. He's a student at Oklahoma State University, got in trouble for delivering a speech about Charlie Kirk. So we're going to have a conversation with him. Congressman Mike Collins is going to drop by, and our good buddy Josh Jones, Republican strategist out of Washington, will be joining us as well. Also, want to remind you, if you go to toddsterns.com, you will see the photograph that's causing a lot of controversy, the photograph of President Trump on the cover of Time magazine. President says that they disappeared his hair. So I'm wondering about your thoughts regarding the photo. Do you believe the photo was meant to be disrespectful and intentionally unflattering of the president? You can give us a call on that. And then this story out of Pennsylvania, which we have at toddsterns.com, and I would encourage you to go over and read the story. This is a doozy. So in Pennsylvania, there's a college. It's a private school. It's named after Benjamin Franklin and Supreme Court Justice John Marshall. It's called Franklin and Marshall College. They have a mascot, 2 mascots. Want to take a wild guess who the mascots are? Well, one of them is named Franklin and the other is named Marshall. 2 white dudes dressed in colonial-era garb. Their school teams, their athletic teams, are called the Diplomats. But in this age of diversity hires, where skin color and chromosomes seem to matter more than university namesakes, they got problems. So now the university president, a guy by the name of Andrew Rich, has established a mascot working group. And they are compiling a list of replacement mascots that would be more gender neutral and less racist. So the campus newspaper, which you got to love these campus newspapers, they're all breeding grounds for these woke reporters. And so they have jumped into the fray here. And they're saying that, yes, Franklin and Marshall need to be replaced because they're old white guys and they were both racist. And here's what they wrote. In a time where we are surrounded by so much racism and sexism, it makes sense why we would want to break from old white guys from the 18th century. John Marshall was racist and fought to keep slavery in the United States. And while Benjamin Franklin was well known for being an abolitionist, he once owned slaves and held racist views too. So basically, they want to cancel anybody born. Well, let's see here. The Emancipation Proclamation went into effect in the year of our Lord, 2023, according to BLM. So, okay, so anybody born anybody born before the year 2000, you have to just erase from public memory. If I'm doing my DEI homework correctly, everybody born before the year 2000 is a racist and a sexist. All right, there we go. Let me continue on now. As more people become aware of their racist histories, now seems like the right time for a mascot change. Franklin Marshall founded our college, but our wonderful community can be represented by so much more than just their names. We are diplomats, after all, and you don't have to be the ghost of a white man to be a diplomat. Well, okay, but your college is named after that old white ghost. So the student newspaper is now suggesting that they should consider a classy cow. They believe that would be a suitable replacement. So I have a question. No, I'm serious. I mean, nothing generates school spirit like a bloviating bovine, right? So I have a question here. What are they going to call the female sports teams? Will they be known there at Franklin and Marshall as the Lady Heifers? That's what I want. All right, here they come down the field, the thundering herd of Lady Heifers. A good WNBA team name. So, I mean, it may be. I don't know. We're just trying to be helpful here. So in previous years, there was even talk about renaming the college, but they shelved that idea, and instead they formed a study group to examine how slavery is represented on campus. And I would hope that slavery's not represented at all on campus. It's the 21st century, for crying out loud. The Emancipation Proclamation was issued in the year of our Lord 2023, or thereabouts. So we'll keep you updated on what's going to happen here, but they're definitely getting rid of Franklin and Marshall. And we have no idea what the new mascot's going to be, but they're going to announce it by wintertime. No doubt it's going to be, I don't know, one of those gender nonconforming, politically correct MOCs. No, that's mascot of color, MOC, mascot of color. All right. Let's go to the phone lines here, 901-260-5926, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Dave on the line. Dave, what's going on?
Todd, listening to you earlier about this shutdown thing, and remember that what they want to do right now is to get us until the 21st of November. One of the main purposes of Congress is to create and maintain a balanced budget. It's not about continuous resolutions. It's not about all these little, they're supposed to do an annual budget, and they don't, because then they would be accountable for every dollar. You cannot funnel money to crime and illegals and everybody else if a dollar has a name. So here's the thing. We're shut down now. This is supposed to get us through until November 21st to begin with. Now, within a week of Thanksgiving, I can cue the music in the background, dramatic effects. Here we go. We're going to scurry around, and everybody's going to say, I've got to get home for Thanksgiving. I'm doing all I can. Let's build this huge ball of money and throw everything in there, and it'll get us through till next year. I mean, how many times do they have to do this? We've watched it. The people hate it. It's irresponsible. Every member of Congress and every member of the Senate should be held accountable for this, because we have not had a balanced budget forever. And if they can, I'm out here, I'm watching all the veterans lose stuff. Well, if we take veterans overall, we appropriate so much money, but we only do it for a certain period of time, they're going to lose benefits. But illegals, and there is money set aside specifically for illegals, and they wanted to increase it. When we go back to when Paul Ryan and Patty Murray wanted to develop legislation to take money away from, get this, retired military people. They wanted to target that small community and take money away from military retirees, specifically for the purpose of funding illegals. I believe that was 2014. I'll have to look it up. But anyhow.
Well, Dave, here's the deal. I mean, Trump has done a great job as far as finding, I think they've got about $8 billion they're pulling out of Pentagon research and development money. which was there and it was not being used so that they can pay the military. But I mean, you're right. We've got to make sure to keep an eye on these lawmakers because we've been there and we've been down this path with Mike Johnson as Speaker, where they get to the holidays, they get to the wall, and then they just say, well, you know, we just need to go ahead and fund this and we'll deal with it later. We got to stop kicking the can down the road.
It's gone on for several administrations now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Not just Mike Johnson.
Yeah. Hey,
and the thing is, we know what the military is going to get paid for the next year. Why should they not get paid this month, no matter what else?
Yeah, well said. Well said. All right, Dave, we got to leave it there, my friend. We certainly appreciate you calling in, and we appreciate the great service of all of those fighting men and women there at Camp Lejeune. Got to leave it there and take a break here. 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
Can't hear the whole show? Don't worry. Get the Toddcast and listen on your own time at toddstarnes.com.
From fruits and veggies to fiber and spice, Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Well, I stopped taking it for a while, and then it dawned on me, so I started taking it again. And I don't know, I like it. I mean, I love them. I'm never going to stop taking them. And I've got a friend that's coming over here. I'm giving her a little bit for her to go try.
I love the product. I wouldn't be without it. You know, ever since I started that product, I remember seeing an ad way back. That's what convinced me. I tried it, and I've been a believer. Nothing compares with it, so I'm a lifer with it. I'm not going to change.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements today. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set. Don't wait. Now's the time to take action. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
America doesn't need barbed wire or secret police to lose freedom. All it takes is silence. Live Not by Lies is a gripping docuseries by Angel Studios that reveals how soft totalitarianism is creeping into everyday life. Through powerful stories from people who lived under communism, it warns of what happens when we surrender truth for safety. This is a must-watch for anyone who loves faith, family, and freedom. Stream the series now, only on Angel Guild by visiting angel.com/Starnes.
America has a new choice for fair and balanced news. ToddStarnes.com. Journalism you can trust from some of the best reporters and opinion writers in the business. ToddStarnes.com takes you to the front lines of the culture war, defending faith, freedom, and your family. ToddStarnes.com also features exclusive interviews with America's top newsmakers like Mike Huckabee, Franklin Graham, and Newt Gingrich. Find out why millions of Americans read ToddStarnes.com every day. It's news you can trust. ToddStarnes.com.
We are living in dangerous and unstable times. Hello, everybody. I'm Todd Starnes. Pandemics, international insecurity, shortages, supply chain disruptions, and an economy on the brink. We know we can't simply trust the government to protect us. Now more than ever, everyone needs to be prepared. And being prepared is more than just stockpiling ammo, food, and supplies. Being prepared should also include stockpiling critical prescription medications. And that's where my friends at the Wellness Company come in. Their medical emergency kit contains the prescriptions, antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics that you need to keep you and your family safe, from anthrax to tick bites to COVID and even to a bioweapon like the plague. The Wellness Company's medical emergency kit is exactly what you need to have on hand to be prepared. Go to twc.health/Starnes today and order. That's twc.health/Starnes. Use the promo code Starnes and you're going to save an extra 10%.
Get hurt in the game? We tough it out. Feel exhausted? We push on. Feeling down? We pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But there are times when bootstraps aren't enough. When stress gets to us and we need to talk to someone about what we're really going through. So we're going to reach out, because sometimes mental health is not a one-person job. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. Today is National Dessert Day. Did you know that? It is. Do you have a favorite dessert? I was on with our friends at WTUN this morning. Bill Main is the morning show host. I do a segment with those guys every Tuesday, and I think they were genuinely surprised at my answer. I am curious, ladies and gentlemen, if there is a favorite dessert. Do we have some sort? Is there a consensus on favorite desserts among the Todd Starnes radio show audience? I will tell you that I have two all-time favorite desserts. Number one is a delicious slice, and it has to be good. It can't be too sticky, and it can't be too sweet. But I am a sucker for a good old-fashioned pecan pie. I love pecan pie. Now, if you come at me with a pecan pie or a pecan pie, I'm going to turn you away because it's a pecan pie. That is the correct pronunciation, pecan. Now, a close second would be banana pudding. And there's really nothing better. I don't care how hot or cold it is, but somebody brings me a big old bowl of banana pudding, then I'm going to be in heaven. And it's, by the way, and that pudding cannot have a G with it. If it's banana pudding, well, that means that it's not authentically Southern. So you got to have good old-fashioned banana pudding. That's Puddin apostrophe. And you got to make sure you have Nilla wafers with it. If you don't have Nilla wafers, I mean, what's the point of living? You know what I mean? And no, I know some people like to get fancy and they like to do the Nutter Butters. No, that's not me. No, I don't want peanut butter in my banana pudding. I want bananas in my banana pudding. And you got to eat it day of, otherwise the bananas. And a lot of people don't even put bananas in. It's just pudding with vanilla wafers. And what's the point, right? So you got to make sure you have some good old-fashioned bananas. So anyway, very curious, ladies and gentlemen. Wyatt Cox from the Nevada Talk Network just texted, do we need to start sending you Jell-O again? Not a big fan of Jell-O. Unless it's like in a congealed salad, which is kind of like a Southern, I guess that is that just a Southern thing? Are the congealed salads, does that translate outside of the Southern states? I think it does. But yeah, Wyatt, appreciate the thought, but just give me some pecan pie or maybe some delicious banana pudding. That's pudding with an N. All right, 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926 if you want to weigh in on your favorite dessert on National Dessert Day. I just want to know who comes up with the holidays, right? Does somebody just sit around and they just start making things up? And I guarantee you they probably either work for or are invested heavily in a Hallmark gift card store. No doubt about that. All right, well, coming up, we're going to be talking to Josh Jones. He is going to be weighing in on the latest with the government shutdown. Also, the media coverage coming out of the coming out of the Middle Eastern peace deal. We'll also quiz Josh on his favorite dessert. So we'll let you know what that is as well. Also, if you haven't already done so, Christmas is sort of starting to kind of peek around the corner just a smidge. I want to tell you right now, you got to get a copy of Star Spangled Blessings, my brand new book. It is a great, great stocking stuffer. It is a small little book, so it'll fit into a stocking stuffer. Or if you want to use it for a wonderful gift, you can certainly do that as well. Star Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots. You can get a copy at your favorite bookstore. You can order one at Amazon, or you can get a signed copy at ToddStarnes.com. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
"When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out."
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older-adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
We're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It'd be great if life came with a remote control. You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control.
Yikes!
So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time, and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Susan's over on our live stream. Todd, I was just scrolling until I heard pecan pie, and I scrolled back up. LOL. That's very clever. Jory says, Todd, my favorite is homemade strawberry rhubarb pie like my grandmother used to make. Oh, that sounds very delicious there. Jory, thank you for writing in. Also, wait a second. I am getting some rather unpleasant messages from some of the trolls. Here's Raymond, and I'll try to read this as Raymond intended it to be. Honey, I think you love all desserts. Just look at you. Well, I do love desserts, Raymond. Yes, I'm partial. I have a little sweet tooth. Not a big fan of chocolate, believe it or not. I mean, I like chocolate, but I'm not a big fan of, I would, wow, I'm going to sound terrible here. I prefer not white cake, it's yellow cake, but I like no, I'm not racist. I just don't like chocolate cake. Okay, let's go to the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line. Josh Jones Josh, you got to help me out here. Do you have a favorite? You're a healthy guy, right? You eat salads and stuff, and
try to be.
Do you have a favorite dessert, Josh Jones?
I'm not a huge dessert person, but I will say, and me and Joe Biden don't share a lot of opinions, but I think ice cream is probably my favorite overall dessert, or my go-to.
So you're an ice cream guy.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, I know I'm always going to like it. It's consistent. And, like, you can get a large variety, right? You have, like, all these different flavors. I'm more of a vanilla ice cream guy, but you can, like, mix in cookie dough or you can mix in Oreos and kind of, change it up a little bit. And the big thing for me is it's consistent. 'Cause, like, I'm not a huge sweets person, so, like, it's just an easy go-to for me. So it's kind of basic, but I like it.
I like there's the Almond Joy. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Mounds is it Almond Joy? Which one has nuts? Mounds don't. Never mind. I don't know. It's the commercial. Look, Josh, one thing that people are not doing is eating dessert in Washington. The shutdown is going on order day 13 now, and all the museums are shut down within the Smithsonian. And now we understand the National Zoo is shut down, and the Democrats are not budging. What's going on here?
Look, I mean, let's be clear from the get-go before I dive into that this is a Democrat-started shutdown. What Congress has voted on and proposed was a CR to continue operating the government under the previous CR that we had that Democrats voted for. So they voted for this in the past and not voting for it this time. Just trying to score political points and holding federal operations hostage, basically. So I think Democrats, for some reason, think they're winning the messaging war on this. I don't think that's the case. And ultimately we'll see how long this goes on for and kind of what the pushback from the media is, or Republicans and Democrats, depending on what the issue is. But yeah, I think Democrats think they're scoring points here, and frankly, they haven't made the demands clear. I don't think the American people know why they shut down the government, if that's their goal. So I'm not really sure what the Democrats' angle is here.
It's very strange. And again, they need 5 votes, and I'm wondering if they're going to be 5 Democrats and maybe some dicey states, they're going to have a tough re-election campaign, and maybe they go to Schumer and say, "Hey, look, you gotta let us take one for the team here."
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think you're going to see eventually, as this continues to carry out, we'll see some of the more moderate Democrats in the Senate start to waver. And potentially, I mean, already you have John Fetterman, Senator of Pennsylvania, who already voted for the bill and is working on, trying to convince his Democratic colleagues to do the same. Because ultimately, the government shutting down doesn't help anybody here. The government needs to be open. The administration and the House and the Senate Republicans have all said, let's just vote for another CR and keep the lights on. And we can have these policy battles, like we typically do, both in the public space and also on votes in Congress. But you shouldn't be holding the federal government and the federal workers hostage during that process.
And what are they saying now? It's over 4,000 workers so far that have been fired. So they've been handed their walking papers, and the administration says more cuts are coming. And I think the majority leader, John Thune, said it's going to be pretty painful out there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's absolutely correct. And another important angle and kind of interesting angle on this is Virginia. We have our governor's election and other statewide elections this fall. Virginia has the highest amount of federal workers of any state in the country due to its proximity to D.C., obviously. But that's going to come into play come November if the Democrats don't get the government reopened. Right now, they have the upper hand in Virginia, but I think they're following the messaging war on this. So if Republicans can weaponize this and be like, look, Democrats aren't fighting for you in D.C. and they shut down the government, that could hurt their election odds this November.
That's interesting. So you think that could be blowback against the Democrats and not the Republicans there?
I mean, yeah, it all depends on how you message it and, get that message out to the voters. So, we'll see what happens. But, obviously, government shutdowns have happened from both sides in the past, and they've been partisan and there's been legitimate reasons. This is one of those where the Democrats have shut down the government, and they haven't made any clear demands of what they're fighting for or what they're trying to do. And I don't think they're doing a particularly good job of messaging that. And I, say that as a Republican operative. But I'm trying to be objective in that, and I truly don't believe they've done a good job of messaging what they're fighting for. So I think, you could see this blow back on them in November.
Josh Jones joining us on our Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line today. Josh, looking back at what happened yesterday, and I'm curious. I know you've been a longtime conservative, a longtime Republican. What was going through your mind as you were watching the president striking this peace agreement in the Middle East, something no other president in modern American history has been able to do over there?
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. President Trump's been clear from the beginning, both during his first term and also during his second term, that he's the president of peace. And, he's really trying to stop the killing and murders happening across the world. I mean, under Biden, the world was on fire. I mean, you had Ukraine and Russia started under him. You had Israel and Palestine and Iran at each other's throats. You had, tensions rising in the South China Sea between Taiwan and China. And President Trump really came in here and, de-escalated these. And you've seen even, a lot of figures on the left and in the media congratulate President Trump and the administration and all the other parties, frankly, involved in this peace deal that we saw yesterday in the Middle East. Obviously, this is a good thing for Israel. All the hostages have been released, which was, the number one priority, both of our government and theirs. So, I mean, this is an absolute win for the administration, and I hope people are giving them credit for that.
Yeah, it's really remarkable, and I'm glad to see the Clintons getting out there, and they gave President Trump credit. I know Hillary looked like she was, being held hostage in the video, but at least she did the right thing.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, this is an objective win across the board, and I hope there's not people out there trying to weaponize it, in one direction or another. This is a good thing, both for the United States' national interest, but also the global peace, and particularly for Israel.
Josh, I know you've been out with a lot of candidates around the nation. You're doing a lot of work down in Texas and other states. What are you sensing? What's the vibe as we start looking towards the midterm elections?
I mean, look, what everything comes back to, and I forget who the quote comes from exactly, but they always say it's the economy, stupid. So ultimately, it's going to come back to economic issues. So we'll see, what the narratives are for both sides. But, I mean, that'd be number one. It's kind of hard to tell at this point just because we're a little far out. You also have a couple elections this November in Virginia, New Jersey. So that kind of be a bellwether and see how things go from there.
Well, that is a great line, and I'm going to give you a little bit of trivia. That came from James Carville, the mouth from the South, who ran Bill Clinton's presidential campaign. Yeah. It's the economy, stupid! That's him.
Exactly. I literally saw a tweet the other day. I was like, just now, I was like, okay, I can't remember who said it, but it's a good quote.
Well, you're getting old, and it happens to all of us. So, what are you going to do? It's interesting. Right. James Carville is quite the character. I saw a documentary on his career and his life, and he was pretty much washed up. He was not able to get anybody elected. He was one of the worst campaign guys out there. Hooks up with Bill Clinton, and the next thing you know, he becomes, all you got to do is win the big one, and then you become the expert, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. Everybody who's in the political operative or strategist space, that's the goal, right? You want the big fish, you want to win a presidential race, and then you're an expert.
Well, and here's where it was really funny. So his wife is Mary Madeline, who is a longtime Republican political consultant, and they would have a lot of fun going back and forth. They never talked politics at home, which is why they were able to have a very lasting marriage. I think, they got married in 93, and they are still married today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a surprising amount of couples like that, even, obviously in the political space, but outside of it, too. You had Kellyanne Conway, which obviously, was part of Trump's first administration, and then her husband was very openly, opposing the Trump agenda. So it's an interesting dynamic, but I'm happy for them.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Kellyanne, I think they got a divorce, or at least separated.
Well,
yeah, that was not good. Not good. Well, when you know George, you kind of understand why. So we'll just leave that there. All right, Jones, go out and grab yourself some ice cream, my friend.
Thanks, Todd. Have a good one.
All right, Josh Jones, everybody, and one of our great political strategists working with a lot of Republican candidates and getting them elected in this upcoming election cycle. All right, got to take a break here and pay some bills. And again, we're taking your calls on National Dessert Day. What is your favorite dessert, and where can you get it? If you know a great little dessert shop, let us know. By the way, later today, 4 o'clock Eastern to be exact, President Trump expected to present the Presidential Medal of Freedom to the widow of Charlie Kirk. And that brings me to our friends at Newsmax. And there is a brand new book coming out called Pagan Threat, authored by Pastor Lucas Miles. Charlie wrote the foreword to that book just before he was killed. In the book, Charlie said that this is the plan to stop the wokeism that's infecting America. And readers are responding, and #1 Amazon bestseller, and Pagan Threat is available wherever books are sold. But you can also get it free of charge. And I know our audience, you guys love free. So you can get Pagan Threat free with a special offer from Newsmax. You're going to be able to save $30. Go to paganthreat.com. That's paganthreat.com. And you'll be able to read Charlie's final words. Again, paganthreat.com. We'll be right back.
You're with Todd Starnes.
Everyone's goals for advancing their education look different. At Liberty University, we've helped thousands of students like you earn their dream degree. So no matter what your goal is, we can help you get there. With over 450 degrees from the associate to the doctoral level to choose from, most of which are 100% online, you'll find what you need to succeed. To discover which degree might be the best fit for you, text degree to 49595. That's degree to 49595.
Hey folks, Todd Starnes here. What's your plan when the smartest investors who never lose pile into gold and silver? They're buying now, watching value climb. Are you okay with missing out, seeing them thrive while you wait? Vault U.S. Gold is the answer, trusted by pros. They offer gold IRAs to secure your retirement, and gold and silver delivered, shipped, and insured to your door. Want to roll over your 401k? Well, their experts make it seamless, honest every step. Why Vault U.S.? Well, they're steady, reliable, no tricks, just value. Gold's hot. Don't regret sitting this out. Call 833-511-GOLD. That's 833-511-4653. Or visit vaultusgold.com/Todd for a free investor kit. That's 833-511-GOLD or 833-511-4653 and get your free investor kit. And say Todd Starnes sent you. Vault U.S. Gold. Buy smart, win big. For more than 12 years, Patriot Mobile has been on the front lines fighting for our God-given rights and freedoms while providing exceptional nationwide cell phone service with access to all three of the main networks. Patriot Mobile's all-U.S.-based support team is standing by to take care of you. Call 972-PATRIOT today or go to patriotmobile.com/Todd. Use promo code Todd for a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT, code Todd. Many college grads are anti-capitalist activists, so if you're a business owner, how do you find new employees who won't destroy your business? Hi, this is Todd Starnes, and that's where Red Balloon comes in. They're America's #1 pro-freedom job board, and they're shaking up the hiring world by focusing on values and mission-aligned talent. Now, there are two ways Red Balloon can help. You can post your job on their national job board. Over 20,000 people visit every week. Or you can hire Red Balloon Recruiter for a more customized talent search. Now, the Recruiter team is really fantastic. They start by learning your workplace culture and writing a custom job posting, and then they source and screen candidates from their national database. Their team conducts first interviews, and you get alerts when they find highly qualified candidates. And Red Balloon delivers these high-quality results at a fraction of traditional corporate recruiter prices. People are saying Red Balloon is a game changer. So check them out today, redballoon.work. Use the promo code STARNS and save $100 on Recruiter.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Someone just sent this to me. I've got to read this quote to you. This is from Memphis Mayor Paul Young, who's a Democrat. And he was explaining, the problem with urban cities like Memphis. And he said, quote, "We cannot ask them," and by them he's talking about the gangbangers. He says, "We can't ask them to put the guns down without putting something else in their hands." So the guy's all but admitting that we've got a major problem, but he doesn't want to do anything about it. They literally believe that poverty is the reason why people are committing crimes. I would be willing to wager, when you actually do a breakdown of the criminal thug element, that you will find many of them are not coming from impoverished homes. And I find it incredibly insulting when they go out there and say, well, poor people are committing the crimes. No, I don't think that's the case. I don't believe that poor people are out there committing crimes. Poor people are just hardworking folks, down on their luck. But that doesn't mean they're going to go out and rob the local Wawa or the Kroger or the Piggly Wiggly. I mean, come on. Unbelievable, these folks. But they always blame poverty. And by the way, are you telling me that these kids, these gangbangers, if they could just get a job down at Target, that they would put down their weapons and they would stop carjacking people? I don't think so. I really don't, ladies and gentlemen. 901-260-5926 is our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. So I'm seeing a lot of ignorant trolls on our live stream, and I want to try to help educate these folks. Because they're saying, well, the Republicans are in charge of Congress. Why can't they get this passed through? Talking about the continuing resolution. Well, the reason why is you need 60 votes to do that. And the Republicans, we do not have 60 Republicans in the U.S. Senate. So we have to have Democrats join together here. And by the way, they're talking, well, what about a compromise? How come we aren't compromising? Well, the only people who have compromised are the Republicans. And the Republicans are saying, look, we will agree to the Biden era spending so long as you don't add more spending on top of that. Let's just get this done so we can get through to November, which is when we start all over again. These people, it's insane with these folks. But that's ultimately what's going on here. Well, coming up in the next hour, we're going to be talking to Congressman Mike Collins out of Georgia. Also, Joshua Wilson, a student at Oklahoma State University. He got in trouble because he gave a speech about Charlie Kirk. And his professor told him that he was going to have a hard time in the class as a result of that. I mean, can you imagine you're a student and you're trying to get a good education, and you've got a professor who hates your guts simply because of your politics? That's absolutely insane, ladies and gentlemen. Just insane. So we're going to be talking to Josh, and that really, it's somewhat heartbreaking because you've got a lot of kids out there who are in the same boat, and their teachers, they hate them. The teachers have it out for these kids simply because of their politics. And if that happens, the very first call you need to make is right here, because we will stand up and stand alongside your kids. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. Boston, Massachusetts had basically a riot, pro-Palestinian rioters, and they set a trap. They lured law enforcement officers into what they called the gauntlet. And so far, we understand 13 people have been arrested, felony charges, 4 officers injured. It was just an incredibly violent attack there on the streets of Boston. And they were setting things on fire, just unbelievable, promoting anarchy. And 4 police officers were injured. Our good buddy Howie Carr writing about this and saying that the tide is now turning for Boston's left-wing rioters. And I hope that's the case. So people are really getting frustrated by the level of violence being committed by these anarchists. And that's really what they are. They call them Antifa. These people are anarchists. According to Howie, one of the Boston police officers suffered a broken nose. The police officer now faces reconstructive surgery. He says it was disgraceful the way these rich hippies from nearly bankrupt fourth-rate private colleges ran amok downtown. But at least it was amusing how horrified the Cheech and Chong types were to Cheech and Chong, to finally be held accountable for their despicable crimes. Haley McIntyre wasn't the only comrade in total shock. 2 gals holding hands. Gabrielle Smith hit with a $5,000 bond. Someone named Styx, her first name is Styx. Who names their child after something that protrudes from a tree branch? How do you, Styx, and it's S-T-Y-X, Styx Hatch, age 19, had to pony up $10,000 to pay her bail out of her trust fund. Jeez-a-loo. The judge says the non-binary Styx have been screaming vulgarities at the cops. Gee whiz. All right, hang tight, everybody. We got to take a quick break, catch up on your news, pay some bills. Stick around. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Radio Show.
From director Sean McNamara comes Soul on Fire, based on a true story.
They said you had no chance, but here you are.
Starring Joel Courtney, John Corbett, Stephanie Shostak, Macy McLean, with Devon Franklin and William H. Macy.
If you focus exactly on loving the life that you're living right now, and not the life that you think you could have had or should have had, that's the whole deal right there.
Soul on Fire, rated PG, parental guidance suggested. Now playing. For tickets, go to soulonfiremovie.com.
Soul on Fire. In a world where our values are under fire, it's time to stand strong. That's why you should know about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank is a bank that stands for faith, family, and freedom. A bank that won't cave to cancel culture. Your money, your values. So if you're tired of banks that won't stand up for your values, It's time to switch to Old Glory Bank. Head on over to oldglorybank.com/starnes and make the change today.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. Stand by for news and commentary next.
From Affirm Films and director Sean McNamara comes Soul on Fire, based on a true story. When John O'Leary suffers burns over 100% of his body, it's a battle for survival. But through the care and support of community heroes, John's resilience leads him to discover what it means to truly live.
The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire.
Soul on Fire. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Now playing. More information is available at soulonfiremovie.com.
Soul on Fire. The Rubicon has been crossed when it comes to unruly teens. From Kettering, Ohio, comes word of a Chick-fil-A that has banned teens. Anybody under the age of 17 must have an adult chaperone. The famed chicken restaurant says it had no other choice. Many other places around the nation, from malls to McDonald's, are banning kids. A Target store in Brooklyn banned children without adult supervision to curb bad behavior, and a nearby McDonald's actually cards anyone who doesn't look their age. The fact is, many parents are using shopping centers and fast food restaurants as de facto babysitters. But Chick-fil-A's job is to sell chicken, not entertain your kids. Now, some parents say it's a violation of their rights, which is simply not true. At Chick-fil-A, the only right a customer has is to a delicious fried chicken sandwich tucked between buttered buns, adorned with a pickle. Start raising your kids right, America. Come on. I'm Todd Starnes.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes. Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute.
Live from the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's America's conservative blowtorch.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Todd Starnes.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Todd Starnes Radio Show. Great to have you with us. Write down our number. You will need it if you want to call in today. 901-260-5926. Again, 901-260-5926. Now, in the last hour, we were talking about this quote from the mayor of Memphis, Tennessee, who suggested that poor people are the ones who are committing the crime, or that kids who have nothing to do are committing crimes. Therefore, if we give the kids something to do, if we give them a job, then maybe, just maybe, they won't carjack us. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that, and I want to go to the phones because Nicole is listening to us from California. And Nicole, we certainly appreciate you calling in today. What's on your mind?
So I first want to thank you for accepting my call. I can say this is twofold, this situation, because it does lay where it does have some fact to that. And I see it as a person who grew up in poverty. I'm a single mom myself right now. And there's so many layers to this. And when I say layers, because I'm in my 40s now. My grandparents raised me. I had irresponsible parents. But thank God I had grandparents. However, I was in school from 8 to 3:30. At 3:30, my grandparents picked me up. I went home with them. You don't find that now in households. As a mother, my job may start at 8, and my kids have to be at school at 8. You can't drop your kids off before 7:30 a.m. There's no one there. Now, I work from 8 to 4:30. I have a 2-hour drive. My children walk home by themselves. They have implemented after-school programs. But where I live at, don't get stuck in traffic. It could take 3 to 4 hours. Now, this is where the issue comes in. When I got divorced, I went to public services and asked for assistance. I said, I have a job. I can pay my bills, but there is a child care issue. I want to contribute to society. they said, we can't give you child care. Figure it out on your own. I had to leave work, come home to take care of my children, and ended up on public assistance. The only grace-saving thing from that issue was they had a job training program. From that day, I went to that job training program. I got a job within county services, which made it possible for me to have the skills that I needed. A lot of times you find children at home without parental guidance, or somewhere in the community provides something for these children, because no situation is perfect. So you have these children outside that are unmonitored. And by the way, by the time the children that are little aren't the problem, it's the children that are growing up that have nothing. They take skills out of school, and that's why I truly believe if you take these young kids from the time they're in high school, give them job skills, put them to work, utilize the services. I'd rather have someone that's on public assistance, getting the job, learning the skills. You create a healthy workforce. Instead, what you do is you give people money, and they're sitting at home spending it. They're not doing anything. And then you have a generation of kids that are continuing the cycle, where there is no skills given to these young kids. So to say someone would not steal because they're in poverty is a lie. Why? Because when I was a 9-year-old child and I had to stay with a parent who was out doing drugs, guess what happened? I stole from a store just to feed myself at 9 years old.
Right, but and Nicole, no. I hear. If you could do me a favor, turn down your radio. We're getting a little bit of feedback here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
It's because I'm on YouTube, because I don't have a radio there.
Oh, that may be it. We'll just hit mute for just a moment, okay. And let me explain where I'm coming from here. So, I understand exactly what you're saying. I do. My concern is just to blanket, deliver a statement like the mayor did, saying that the reason why kids are out there carjacking folks is because, they're hungry. I don't think that's the case. By and large. Now, am I saying that there may be a situation where a kid goes and they shoplift, something from the grocery store? Okay, which is wrong, but at least, I understand that they're hungry and they have no food. But are there no programs that would provide food, whether it be the church or, a local food bank or something of that nature? I think they're just making blanket statements that poor people are out there committing all the crime. And first of all, there's no evidence to back that up. There's a lot of conjecture, but there's actually no evidence to say, yeah, people are going out there and carjacking and shooting people because they have no money in the bank.
Well, to be honest, I hate to say it, it's true. And a lot of people have this idea that when you're in poverty, your parents might have raised you well, but the need to have and want, you have a generation that is not taught to work hard for what they want, okay? And a lot of them don't have life skills. So the best way to take something from someone or get what you want, it's not just in America. If you look all around the world, you see people in poverty, and what happens? They're stealing, they're killing, they're fighting, because a lot of skills aren't given. How people aren't taught to be self-sufficient anymore.
Yeah,
so
Nicole.
When you're not taught to be
let me jump in there. And to your point, that's the big problem with our school system right now. And there is an intentional effort to dumb down our student population so that kids are going to be forced to rely on the federal government for whatever help they need to make it in life. And I got a huge problem with that. One of the things that we talk about on this radio program all the time is the importance of those trade schools and making sure that kids who may not be on a track to college get some sort of a life skill so they can go out there and get a job after high school, or even get a job while they're in high school. But a lot of the schools, the taxpayer-funded schools, are failing the kids of America. And we talk about that a lot on this program, Nicole, and it just saddens me. Now, keep in mind, parents have a responsibility as well. And you've got to prepare your kid to get ready to go to school. But when the kid actually gets to school and you've got young people that are graduating high school, they can't even read and write their name, that is a complete and abject failure, and it ought to be unacceptable. And if you're a voter, whatever party's in charge, they're the ones responsible in your local community for your local schools. You got to vote those people out, and you got to get people in who are going to make a difference and care about what's happening in the schools. Nicole, I hate to do this, but I've got to run. But I thank you for calling in, and thank you for sharing your story. And you sound like you're a great mom, and you're working hard to make sure your kids are going to be great, productive members of society. So God bless you. 901-260-5926 is our phone number. Let's go to Kentucky. Elizabeth, what's on your mind?
Well, hi, Todd. I love your show.
Thank you.
And if it ain't broke, you're welcome. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think people love your show because as Americans, we love to talk. But in regards to the last caller, I'm an XX chromosome individual, so I've got input on every subject matter that there is. And as she was saying, and as you were saying, the skilled trades, it seems as though here in the United States of America, right now our public education system seems to be focused on teaching our children how to perform fellatio, and I think we need to switch that up a little bit. But the reason for my call, there was major controversy a couple of weeks ago in regards to barbecue. And I'm from Kentucky. I'm living in North Carolina right now. North Carolina's barbecue is terrible. It's vinegary. Now, Kentucky's is kind of tomato sweet. I don't know about Tennessee. And they say that Tennessee has some of the best barbecue ever. But, I have not had any of Tennessee's barbecue. And last but not least, I'm curious to know your thoughts on why would Qatar or Qatar and the United States of America, why would we host them in Idaho? Why Idaho? Why not North Carolina or California? I'm just curious. And that's all I've got to say about that.
Well, a lot of topics there, from fellatio to barbecue to Qatar. Let's take barbecue first, and I do have to correct you on something about Tennessee barbecue. There's really no such thing as Tennessee barbecue. It's Memphis barbecue, and then everything else. So I am a big fan of Memphis only because of the dry rub. I'm not a big sauce guy, and I love dry rub barbecue, especially when it comes to ribs. And so for me, if you got to put sauce on it, that means the meat, is not good. That's how I look at things. So for me, that's, Memphis barbecue is the jam. I love it. And then, Elizabeth, if you come to Memphis, then you've got to figure out, okay, well, one place may have great ribs, but another place may have great pulled pork. And then if you want to get a great chopped pork sandwich, where do you go for that? I would recommend Tops Barbecue, which in some places, it's kind of like the Waffle House of barbecue, which it's a great meal, but you probably need to carry a gun with you. If that makes sense.
Okay. Well, again, haven't been there to do that.
Yeah. So all that to say, yeah, enjoy your barbecue. I'm with you though on the vinegar based. I'll never forget the first time I had it, and it was not a good experience for me or for the person sitting across from me. As far as Qatar, so there has been some. The Pentagon's calling it misreporting. I think it's a misunderstanding of what the arrangement is, but we are not actually building an air base for the Qataris on American soil. So still a lot to understand about all of that, and I'm not sure when it was rolled out that the administration did a good job of explaining why we are doing that. I understand that we want to be helpful to people, but again, these are individuals that were funding very bad terrorists who are trying to kill us and the Israelis.
Well, I'm curious of just, but they do give lots of, I'm assuming, what I've heard, and we know how the news media is now, that Qatar, or Qatar, however you pronounce it, gives to, contributes money to educational institutions and politicians and lawyers, et cetera, et cetera. So And I've never heard anybody once say thank you. Like, I think, did we thank them for the plane that they gave us? I don't know. But I was just curious why Idaho. And from my understanding, yes, we're just hosting them there. But and we've hosted the Germans and Arkansas, I believe, and some other places. But, you know, why Idaho? You know, why not host them, let them learn stuff from, you know, the fighter jet pilots here in North Carolina or other places? I'm just curious.
Well, it's a good question. I know that there's another, I believe Singapore actually has a fighter squadron there. And so there are a lot of these training agreements that are in place with other countries, you know, that we may not even know about. And I don't think there's anything nefarious here, but it is unusual. And again, going back to Qatar and the Qataris and their association connections, you know, with some of these radical, you know, Islamists out there. So it's troubling for a lot of people. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And if we're able to get a peace deal, and part of the agreement is, okay, we need to, you know, learn how to, you know, fly fighter jets, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But then again,
Thank you
know,
so much.
Yeah, and Elizabeth, honestly, it could have been, you know, they don't eat pork, so that may be why they didn't pick North Carolina or Tennessee. So I'm just saying.
Thank you, Todd. God bless you.
All right, God bless, Elizabeth. Thank you for that. All right, 901-260-5926. This is The Todd Stern Show.
Triggering microaggressions from coast to coast. You're listening to Todd Starnes.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life. And he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS. America doesn't need barbed wire or secret police to lose freedom. All it takes is silence. Live Not by Lies is a gripping docuseries by Angel Studios that reveals how soft totalitarianism is creeping into everyday life. Through powerful stories from people who lived under communism, it warns of what happens when we surrender truth for safety. This is a must-watch for anyone who loves faith, family, and freedom. Stream the series now, only on Angel Guild, by visiting angel.com/Starnes.
America has a new choice for fair and balanced news. ToddStarnes.com. Journalism you can trust from some of the best reporters and opinion writers in the business. ToddStarnes.com takes you to the front lines of the culture war, defending faith, freedom, and your family. ToddStarnes.com also features exclusive interviews with America's top newsmakers like Mike Huckabee, Franklin Graham, and Newt Gingrich. Find out why millions of Americans read ToddStarnes.com every day. It's news you can trust. ToddStarnes.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a 70-year-old man. I'm not a young guy, and I'm an ex-athlete. Well, yeah, when I was taking it, I recognized that I was feeling better. You know what I'm saying? And just mentally knowing is important also.
I am a customer of you guys. I love your product. Love it, love it. Nothing but good things to say about your product. I love it. And as long as y'all don't sell it, I'm going to take it as long as I can.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Smokey the Bear.
Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do.
What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at smokeybear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/TODD or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. All right, welcome back to the Todd Stern Show. Wow, that last call, Elizabeth, I like that call. That was we were sort of all over the place. So I'm glad we did settle on the barbecue conversation, though. 901-260-5926 is our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. President Trump at the White House today with Argentina's president. He's visiting, and the president's taking some questions. We'll keep you updated. The president did announce that we've hit another Venezuelan boat that was filled with drug smugglers, and they've gone off to meet their maker now. So there you go. How about that? Also, the president weighing in again on this. He's really upset over this Time magazine photo. And the president says they disappeared my hair. They wrote a good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. The president said, I never liked taking pictures from underneath, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing and why? You know who's feeling pretty... You know, there's probably a photographer, and the photographer was trying to... I'm just going to put my mind, and it very well may be, let me preface this by saying this, it very well may be that the photographer is a leftist loser who hated Trump and wanted to take the worst photo known to mankind. That could very well be what this is. But it could also be that this photographer was thinking to himself or herself, and they said, you know, we always get it's the standard photo headshot of President Trump, and I want something different for the cover, so why don't we just do like an underneath Trump shot? First of all, I'm curious how they got that shot, and maybe we don't want to know. But anyway, I mean, it could be. So if you can imagine that maybe they're Trump fans, and they're like, you know, we were just trying to be creative and do something different. You know, sometimes doing something different is never the right answer, right? Sometimes you just take the photo and leave it be. But the president's very unhappy about this. I don't think it looks that bad. I mean, I understand why the president is upset because I've had some photos taken of me, and I'm like, man, that's just not good. You know, there's a reason why my face is not on the cover of my books. It's always on the back inside flap because I want people to buy my books. I'm just saying, it is what it is. So we'll keep you updated on any developments there. And Time Magazine hasn't responded one way or the other. And I do feel bad for them if, in fact, this guy was just tried to take a photo of President Trump from a different angle. By the way, I speaking of angles, I know there are a lot of different angles when it comes to buying a cell phone. I get that. So many choices, so many new companies, offers popping up every single day. But here's the deal. There's only one cell phone company that actually stands up for freedom, and that's Patriot Mobile. They've been doing this for more than 12 years now, and they have an incredible cell phone service with access to all 3 main networks. I want you to give them a call. Check them out, 972-PATRIOT, or go to patriotmobile.com/Todd. That's patriotmobile.com/Todd. Now get this. Use my promo code Todd. They're going to give you a free month of service. You can keep your phone if you want it. You can upgrade. You can also keep your number as well. 972-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/Todd. Promo code Todd for that free month of service.
Mama, what does the chicken say?
Chicken. Oh, okay.
When the wolf?
Oh, a wolf.
Ooh! What about the tiny dog? Cat? Owl? Dolphin? What does the turkey say? Whale?
Yeah, whale sound.
Do the giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Okay. Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face, never let them have too much screen time, and never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed, never ever become a minivan mom, and you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
All right, coming up tonight on Newsmax, the Todd Stern Show, Congressman Burgess Owens joins us to weigh in on the shutdown. Also, we're going to be speaking with Eric Flores. He is a great lawmaker, very concerned about Border Patrol and what's happening along our border. And Brad Dacus from the Pacific Justice Institute talking about their big gala this weekend. I will be the master of ceremonies. That's being held in Anaheim. And, of course, our keynote speaker for that event, the one and only Eric Trump. So a lot happening tonight on Newsmax. Our next guest is also going to be making a television appearance tonight. His name is Josh Wilson. He is a student at Oklahoma State University. And Josh joins us on our Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line today. And, Josh, we really appreciate you taking time away from classes to have a conversation with us.
I appreciate you inviting me on.
Well, this is just a crazy story, and I understand you're in student government there at OSU, and I want you to set the stage and tell us what happened to you as you were getting up and you wanted to honor Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, so you kind of understand the situation. You kind of got to understand Charlie Kirk's impact on our campus. Charlie Kirk came back in April of the spring semester, and with him, he had about a turnout of 10,000 people.
Wow.
That's a lot for our little campus, and people were happy to come to the front of the line to ask their disagreements and their questions. There was a big impact on our campus. People were coming out from every corner of campus to discuss what was going on, and then after Charlie left, that didn't really stop. Students, conservative students and Democratic students were talking from debate club to the street corners just about politics and life. So on the day that Charlie Kirk passed away, I thought the best thing to do would be to honor him and the impact he made on our campus by giving a speech, and to also bring some peace of mind to the students that were affected by his passing. So I went to student government. Me and a buddy gave a speech honoring Charlie Kirk and calling for an end to political violence. Didn't hear anything that night. In fact, everything was followed by applause. Most of the students and faculty seemed to appreciate the message until the following week, when I was called into a meeting with our faculty advisor, who told me that my hat was triggering, that I needed to talk to people that didn't look like me, and that if I didn't agree that that I acted in a partisan manner, then the year would be difficult for me. Since then, I've kind of just been sharing the story, and I appreciate the time you've allowed me to share it with you today.
So Josh, let's. I have many questions. Many questions, Josh. First of all, this hat, she said, that was triggering. Could you tell us what kind of a hat you were wearing?
Yeah, so it was a white Turning Point hat. It had 47 on it, but they were handed out during the event back in April. Thrown to the crowd. I was able to volunteer at that event, so along with the other volunteers, staff, Charlie Kirk gave us a hat and a shirt to wear to help coordinate stuff that was going on that day.
So that was the hat. So the white hat with the number 47 was what set off this person. And she said, did she explain? Did you ask her to explain what she meant by people not like you, that don't look like you?
I kind of understood what she was saying. It was a clear kind of diagnosis of reaching out to people that probably didn't have the same characteristics. That's what I mentioned later on in the meeting, which I believe the audio has been shared by OCPA. If not, be happy to share that with you. But I said that I've talked with people that have different characteristics than me, that look differently than me, and she's tracked along with the conversation, so it seemed to be that that was what she was talking about. I'm from the Cherokee Nation. I'm a Cherokee Nation citizen, so I think I've spent plenty of time talking with people that don't exactly have the same skin tone as me.
Well, that's a fair point, and I'm sure that might have triggered her as well. This individual, so you had this conversation. It certainly seemed to me, and I did listen to the recording, and it certainly sounded to me as if she was making a threat to you. Is that how you perceived it? Is that how you took it?
Yes. Yeah, there wasn't much other way of I could understand to take that. So after she mentioned that, I kind of said, "Thank you for your perspective," and kind of left the office.
She, according to an organization called FIRE, and they're all over this story, and they've sent a letter to the university, really concerned at the way you were treated. Apparently, the Student Government Association advisor said that she meant for the conversations with you to be teachable moments. I'm wondering what she meant by that, Josh.
I don't think that I'm even aware of what she meant by that. I was so fearful after other parts of the conversation that kind of part kind of slipped past me. So.
You know, it's interesting because Oklahoma is the reddest state in the nation. I mean, that's not in dispute at all. I think every single county went for President Trump in both election cycles. And I'm just wondering, there on campus, is it a fairly conservative, or at least is the campus itself friendly to conservative students?
Well, the campus for the most part seems to be. Many of the students are not. So I have a friend that is the president of YAF on OSU, and he says that their flyers promoting their club or just conversation are taken down on the daily. They have to constantly print those out. Last year, they had an event where they did a showing of a video, and that poster that they had out was desecrated with people calling them Hitler or calling the person who had made the movie Hitler. There's been a lot of confrontation for conservative students, probably from a minority of students of thought, that, like the Democratic Party, college Democrats, that don't necessarily agree with all of our ideas.
What do you think the point of that meeting was? You were summoned to that meeting. It sounds to me like she was telling you, you better watch, you better be quiet, you better not be talking about your politics, or there's going to be a price to pay.
I think that's exactly right, which I don't understand why. In nature, student government is political. We're elected to the positions, and we're there to cover student concerns, whether that be something going on in the community, something that's political, or something that's apolitical. So I think that's a fair concern.
I know the university released a statement and is pretty much bogus. I mean, they're saying that you were allowed to speak freely during the SGA meeting and you expressed your views without interruption or restriction, which is true. But the reality is you were summoned to a meeting here and that was not addressed. What would you like the university to do here, and how do they need to make this good?
So I think FIRE has made a good request in their letter they sent to the university, asking OSU to affirm that no illicit threats will be made on constitutionally protected speech, and to clarify that SGA members are able to wear expressive clothing in those spaces. That could be a start, and wherever they want to go after that is their prerogative. But I think that it needs to be, this type of censorship needs to stop.
No, it does, and especially in light of what you said, which was, I think your remarks were quite appropriate, nothing offensive, nothing out of bounds here, and the reality is this is a university campus, and people should be able to debate freely on a university campus and have an opposing viewpoint of whatever issue is out there.
I agree, and that's my mission in general. Like at Oklahoma State, we have what's called the Debate Club. Me and my buddy Jason founded it my freshman year, and the main goal of our club is to promote discussion to issues pertinent to our time. Regardless of political or non-political, college is a place where you explore ideas and you come for knowledge and to expand your understanding of the world around you. And whenever you have that type of speech censored or chilled, at least, then it's hard for that to take place.
We're speaking to Joshua Wilson. He's a junior at Oklahoma State University, Senate University Chairman. He has been reprimanded and, quite frankly, threatened by a staffer because of his conservative beliefs and a support for Turning Point USA. Josh, has the university reached out at all in the aftermath of all of this to try to make it all right?
No, they've reached out for the audio, which was provided to them, but besides that, they haven't made any statement or even reached out to me in any way, shape, or form.
Wow. So you're a junior now. What's your major? What do you want to do with yourself?
Yeah, so I'm an ag business pre-law major. So I'd like to go into some sort of industry involving that. I did an internship last year with a vineyard in Muskogee and just had a blast. So maybe if I could do something in that space, maybe go into representing some ag businesses in the future, that'd be really cool.
Well, I have no doubt you'll do a great job. We have a lot of farmers that listen to us in their tractors, so we have a great farming audience out there, and I know their ears perked up when you said that. Josh, we're going to see you tonight on the TV show. We're looking forward to that conversation. You hang in there, and you let us know what we can do to help out.
All right, well, take care.
All right, there you go, folks. Josh Wilson, a junior at Oklahoma State University. I'm telling you, these universities, shame on these people for hiring folks that are trying to bully these conservative kids. But you heard this young guy. He's not he seems very respectable and a good kid, and he just wanted to go out there and honor Charlie Kirk. I say they need to fire the staff advisor there of the Student Government Association. I think that might possibly send a message. What say you, ladies and gentlemen? 901-260-5926. Good kid, though. 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
Sane talk in an insane world. Todd Starnes.
Hey, Patriots, Todd Starnes here with big news. Trump's fighting for our country to get it back on the right track, battling China, who's likely dumping treasuries to sink the dollar, and facing tariffs that are having a sharp bite on the stock market. Now, Trump is playing the long game for America, putting Americans first. But like hard work, there's always going to be some pain. So you've got to play smart, too. Secure your hard-earned savings and retirement with Vault U.S. Gold. Their IRS-approved gold IRAs let you roll over your IRA or 401k with a no-commission pros. Safe, simple, tax-smart, protecting your future. Want it in hand? Well, their direct delivery program ships insured gold and silver to your door, offering privacy, yours to store securely. Real assets that you can hold and touch for tough times. Call 833-511-GOLD. That's 833-511-4653 or visit vaultusgold.com/Todd Starnes for your free investor kit. And tell them Todd sent you, and don't go unprotected.
From fruits and veggies to fiber and spice, Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a natural bodybuilder, so I know when something works and when something doesn't. I've tried so many different products. When I got your product, and like I said, I'm a natural bodybuilder. As soon as I got it, did them for a week, and I told my brother, I said, Rick, you need to try these. You know I won't give you nothing if it don't. He tried them, bam, the first day. He said, this is a good product. And I got my mom on them, and I just keep pushing your product. It's a great product. You're a great company, and everybody there I've talked to has been so kind. Great product. It does what it says it does.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements today. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life. And he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back. I will say this. It is so encouraging, and I hope you feel encouraged to know that there are these college kids that are standing up and saying, you know what, we're going to speak out, and we're not going to go quietly. We're not going to be bullied by our teachers, by university staff members. We're going to stand up for our rights, and I am all over that, and certainly want to say thank you for Fire. They're doing a great job of getting out there and standing up and firing off a letter to the university. It's pretty much outrageous that the only thing the university asked for was the audio recording. And that makes me wonder, why did they want that recording? They could hear it. It's out there. You know, they can listen to it if they want to. But that concerns me. They might be trying to go after Josh Wilson. Regardless, we're going to be on top of that story, and we're not going to let them bully these kids. We're just not going to let them do it. And so if you hear of a local school in your community and they're going after conservative kids, you pick up the phone and you call us, and we will be all over that story. Just unacceptable what they're doing. 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. There is a crazy story out of Hernando, Mississippi. This involves a former youth minister, and she's also she worked at a church there in the area, Get Well Church, as a student and outreach coordinator. And her name is Lindsay Whiteside. And she is in pretty hot water, folks. She was convicted of, she pled guilty to sexual abusing a girl. Following the guilty plea, she was facing up to 30 years in prison. That's what the prosecutors, the district attorney there, a great guy. His name is Matthew Barton. And he was seeking a 30-year prison sentence for this illegal criminal relationship that this woman had with this girl. Instead, the judge sentenced her to 3 years of house arrest and 7 years of probation. She also has to register as a sex offender. Now, Mr. Barton was like, what the heck is going on here? He is enraged over this and says there's a double standard to the sentencing because Whiteside is a woman. The DA said there was 64,000 pages of evidence between text messages and stationaries from the church showing her relationship with the girl who was 9 years younger than she was. There were also a lot of letters in support of the youth minister from local people in the community, including, I'm not kidding you, including a school board member. And the DA wrote a very public letter about that. Let's go to the phone lines here. This is sort of ironic. We have Mark in Nesbitt, Mississippi, who's a reporter who covered the story. Mark, what's going on here? This is an insane story.
Well, good afternoon. But, Todd, you have to look at the judge, too. But, yeah, first of all, you had 9 teachers, you had an assistant principal, and you had a school board member who all sent in letters that apparently said, oh, no, she's a good person. Don't be bad. And what you need to look at is the judge. D.A. Barton said it in this case. There were 2 DeSoto County judges who had to recuse themselves because they knew the defendant's family. So the judge that they got was a liberal judge from Oxford. He basically said in open court that, oh, no, jail is only for scary people, and you don't scare me. He gave her 3 years of basically house arrest, so she gets to go home at night and, put on her, like a district attorney, put on her favorite pajamas and sit in her favorite chair and go to all of the restaurants that we do. While the victim, was re-victimized by people in the community at her own church, siding against her. So, but that judge actually said that in open court. Oh, you don't scare me. So that's why she got house arrest.
I'm astounded by this, and the DA is just enraged and wrote a letter to a member of the DeSoto County School Board. He says this sort of thing is unacceptable, and he's demanding at least, what is her name? Michelle Henley.
Michelle Henley. Yeah,
demanding her resignation.
Yeah. I haven't gotten any comment back yet from the superintendent or her. I've reached out to both of them. I doubt we will. But her apparently Miss Whiteside's family was rather prominent in the education community. The gymnasium at DeSoto Central is actually named after her father, who was, I believe, the first basketball coach there, and of course she coached basketball there. So, Mr. Barton said yesterday that, listen, you're not going to be remembered for your family's contributions to education. You're not going to be remembered for your father's contributions to education. You're going to be remembered for exactly what you are, a child sex predator. But my goodness, 3 years. It was horrible what she did to this girl. She basically groomed this girl. She was in charge of when they would go on church trips, what rooms they stayed in, where they sat on the bus. It was just horrific what she did. So, no, there was no justice in this case. And I've got to give a lot of credit to District Attorney Barton. This was really a fine moment for him. I think we were all pretty impressed yesterday.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mark, hang tight. I want to make sure we get your contact information. And I know our folks at the Memphis radio station are probably going to want to have you on to talk about this tomorrow. But thanks for calling in. That's just insane, ladies and gentlemen. Just absolutely insane. All right. We've got to leave it there. Folks, a lot happening this afternoon. Be sure to be listening to your local radio station for the Charlie Kirk event at the White House today, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. President Trump, many others will be speaking. You're going to want to be a part of that. We'll see you tonight, by the way, 5 o'clock Eastern on Newsmax. Get out there. You be good and safe, America.
When you're working to protect and serve your community and country, you need a degree program that fits into your busy schedule. At Liberty University, you'll find just that. With 100% online program options and no set login times, you can advance your skills without sacrificing your commitments. Plus, we offer exclusive tuition rates and discounts to current and former service members, their spouses, and first responders. Learn more by texting DEGREE to 49595. That's DEGREE to 49595.
From director Sean McNamara comes Soul on Fire, based on a true story.
They said you had no chance, but here you are.
Starring Joel Courtney, John Corbett, Stephanie Shostak, Macy McLean, with Devon Franklin and William H. Macy.
If you focus exactly on loving the life that you're living right now, and not the life that you think you could have had or should have had, that's the whole deal right there.
Soul on Fire, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Now playing. For tickets, go to soulonfiremovie.com.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Prediabetes captures 1 in 3 adults. There are usually no signs of prediabetes. In fact, most people don't even know they have it. But with early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Take action by taking the 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. You might not be able to escape having this song stuck in your head, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Years of probation. She must also register as a sex offender. Martin says prosecutors sought a 30-year prison sentence. He lambasted the judge for the sentence, claiming there was a double standard to the sentence because Whiteside is a woman. Martin said there were 64,000 pages of evidence between text messages and stationaries from the church showing her relationship with a girl 9 years younger than her. 2 people dead, another injured during a shooting this morning in Orange Mound. The shooting happened around 4:30 a.m. at Riley Avenue and Airways Boulevard. 1 woman pronounced dead on arrival, the second taken to the hospital in critical condition. Investigators say the man who shot the woman also shot himself. He was taken to the hospital where he died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Investigators say the man and one of the women were in a relationship. This investigation is ongoing. Stay tuned. The forecast coming up from meteorologist Laura Huckabee, where Memphis goes for breaking news. I'm Joe Miller.
Mid-South weather now on the mighty 990 KWAM, powered by All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch.
Sunshine. It's a gorgeous day. It's warm, that's for sure. Afternoon high stretching into the low 80s will be cleared tonight with lows mid-50s. Tomorrow for Wednesday, sunshine and a high of 83. By Thursday, sunny and 85 and 87 on Friday. A few showers and storms during the day Saturday. More showers and thunderstorms Saturday night. I'm staff meteorologist Laura Huckabee in the Mighty 990 KWAM Weather Center.
In a world where our values are under fire, it's time to stand strong. That's why you should know about Old Glory Bank. Old Glory Bank is a bank that stands for faith, family, and freedom. A bank that won't cave to cancel culture. Your money, your values. So if you're tired of banks that won't stand up for your values, it's time to switch to Old Glory Bank. Head on over to oldglorybank.com/starnes and make the change today.
CBS News Brief. Israel is accusing Hamas of violating the peace plan by not releasing the bodies of dead hostages. CBS's Haley Ott reports from Tel Aviv.
It's a holiday here, and people are spending time at home with their loved ones and just processing what it means that this 2-year chapter seems to have finally come to something of an end.
President Trump says the U.S. has struck another small boat accused of carrying drugs off the coast of Venezuela. A powerful storm is creating problems in the West, especially in areas of Southern California that suffered through wildfires. Meteorologist Kate Bilo.
More rain for California as this next system comes on shore. We're talking mountain snow and the threat for flooding.
The man accused of breaking into the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania and starting a fire has pleaded guilty to attempted murder and other charges. Governor Josh Shapiro spoke today about how his family has tried to deal with what happened.
It's been really hard.
CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
Hungry for classic comfort? Come to Junior's just off the Hernando Square, where every plate feels like home. Open every day with weekend breakfast and daily favorites like homemade fried chicken and country fried steak. Thursday through Saturday, try the 12-ounce prime rib dinner special. Eat in, call in, or visit the newly opened drive-thru. Enjoy the Junior's newly renovated space on the Hernando Square. Locally owned and operated, Junior's is your hometown comfort food destination. Only at Junior's.
All through the year, we're bombarded with ads for holiday gift giving, Christmas, Valentine's Day, birthday, anniversary. It's important to remember loved ones at the special times of year. But what about the rest of the time, when the stress of work, family, even school get us down? That's when a Just Because I Love You gift is so important. Come visit us at Special Things. We specialize in the Just Because gifts that allow us to remember the love. Special Things, Antique and Estate Jewelry, 7529 Stage Road, 388-4000.
Okay, sometimes I do fiddle around, but not when selling your real estate. You want the most you can possibly get for your property, and selling with Walker Auctions online by competitive bidding could be the best way to liquidate your land, home, or contents. Call Eric Walker at 901-491-0793 and let me explain how our system of selling works. That's 901-491-0793, or go to our website, walkerauctions.com. When it comes to selling, Walker Auctions doesn't fiddle around.
Got a gardening question and need some advice? Head to Dan West Garden Center, now serving Memphis and the Mid-South for over 72 years. The experts at Dan West know trees, shrubs, flowers, vegetables, herbs, and much more. And they're ready to answer all of your lawn and garden questions. Stop by one of their 2 locations, 4763 Popper Avenue at Colonial and 12061 Highway 64, just 12 minutes east of the Wolf Chase Shopping Center. We can't wait to see you at Dan West.
The Mighty 990, 107.9 FM, 990 AM, KWHM.
From the heart of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., backed by the trusted voices of Team Fox. A clear, fresh voice cutting through the noise to tell the truth. It's the Guy Benson Show with Guy Benson.
It is Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. Welcome, everyone, to the Guy Benson Show. I'm your host, Guy Benson. Really glad that you're here with us every weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and then around the clock for free on our podcast. That's at GuyBensonShow.com or FoxNewsPodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a Fox News contributor, and I was very busy this morning. I was on with Stuart Varney around 9 a.m. Eastern, then Dana and Bill on America's Newsroom, and have some more TV later in the week as well. Always appreciate when you tune in on the TV side, and especially here on radio and the podcast as well. What an honor. And what a lineup today. Howie Kurtz will be here coming up later this hour. Charlie Gasparino trying to make sense of the markets. Really a bit of a roller coaster ride these last couple of days. A lot of that having to do with China and the U.S. posture towards China. Carol Markowitz will also be our guest later in the program. And the great K.T. McFarland, who has worked for 4 different presidential administrations, she's going to talk about what just happened in the Middle East and how that might reverberate elsewhere around the world. Looking forward to that conversation with KT. And then just as a heads up, something that we are going to be monitoring throughout the show today, especially coming up in our next hour, we are expecting the president to award posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Charlie Kirk. Today is Charlie's birthday. He would have been just 32 years of age. Of course, just very recently, he was cut down by an assassin's bullet, a politically motivated murder. And many people are still in shock and in mourning. He will be honored at the White House today. And as that unfolds, we intend to bring you at least some of it live. We will keep an eye on everything over at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That is at least scheduled for the middle hour today. The president ran a little bit behind. He was meeting with President Milei of Argentina. That was slightly delayed, but as these developments come, we will let you know, and if we can, we will dip in live. With that said, I want to reflect just a little bit, yes, through a political prism, on the events of this week, the peace deal in Gaza, the release of the hostages. And I think we've heard a lot of, you might say, deafening silence from a whole lot of people about all of this, including people who never said one word about those hostages, including in this country, even when there were living American hostages still being held. Remember, this is not just an Israel issue. I think a lot of Israel's enemies are also our enemies. They do a lot of our dirty work in that region. They're excellent at intelligence. They are a really essential partner, I think, for American interests and American national security. But even beyond that, you might disagree or think that's overblown. I think you're wrong. But just for the sake of argument, we should also note that dozens of Americans were killed on October 7th. Others taken hostage. And so when you see a lot of people in our country not only refusing to mention the hostages, talk about them seriously, show any human compassion or empathy there. In fact, many of them made it a sport of tearing down the posters of hostages, including in the early days. October 7th had just happened, and you had people, especially on college campuses and in big left-wing cities, going around ripping down hostage posters. And a lot of them chanted in the streets, cease fire now. They chanted a lot of things, including eliminationist, genocidal, terrorist slogans. They did so proudly in many cases, ignorantly in others. But they also chanted cease fire now, which is what Hamas at the time was also looking for. They wanted to attack, kill, and then cease fire. They broke the previous existing ceasefire to murder 1,200 people and then wanted a ceasefire right away, which is not how this works. And, of course, not a reasonable expectation at all of Israel. But the ceasefire now brigade, many of them have nothing to say about this ceasefire, have nothing to say about the peace deal. And those who do have something to say, in many cases, they're against it. Which I think brings us to such an important point. A lot of the people who have been hyperventilating about so-called genocide are absolutely full of it. Right? That was a talking point that got circulating in the fall, late fall of 2023. Genocide. Genocide, genocide. And then starvation was part of it. They had all their different permutations and versions of the lie. But this gigantic lie that they came back to was genocide. I think a lot of that was trying to draw parallels to the Holocaust, to rob Jews of that victimhood as well, and to misappropriate it for their own cause. Absolutely disgusting. It was never a genocide. And yet that was said over and over again. It's just accepted unthinkingly by a lot of people as true, when in fact it is not true. In his statement about the release of the hostages, Zohran Mamdani, the likely next mayor of New York City, who's right at the epicenter of this coalition the dirtbag coalition of leftists, communists, Marxists, socialists, and Islamists. When the deal was struck, most of his statement about it was attacking Israel. And when the hostages were released, he, of course, came back to the genocide smear. A number of Democrats, elected and otherwise, have been at least rhetorically pretty good for the last 24 or 48 hours because there is so much to celebrate in terms of what has been achieved by President Trump and the Israelis and the other mediators in all of this. I will give some credit to Bill and Hillary Clinton, for example. Look up their statements. Pretty good. Even Joe Biden, the former president, not bad, at least. I'll give him that. Others a lot better. John Fetterman, someone that I have gained a lot of respect for in recent years, Democratic senator from Pennsylvania. Excellent. He never gave an inch to his base, his anti-Israel and largely anti-Semitic, anti-West, hardcore base of his party. He wouldn't bow one bit to them. And good for him. There are others that I respect and appreciate. Richie Torres, congressman, he's been on this show. I could go on. But the woman who was almost our president, not Hillary, that was a few times ago, more recently, the then sitting vice president, Kamala Harris, now a private citizen, plotting her next move. She's selling a book. She was on MSNBC. She was asked a question about